Hey everybody, it is Romania Black. We are on episode 6 of Modao Zushi season 3. We're at the halfway point of season 1. It's weird because I feel like we've just started season 3, but at the same time, there's been a lot happening. So it doesn't feel like it's gone by quickly, but at the same time, it's weird. It feels like it's gone by quickly, but it hasn't. I'm not ready for us to be in the second half of the season, but here we are. I'm not feeling sad though, because as I've told you all, I'm going to go back and listen to the audio drama and read the novel, so I feel like there's still much more Modao Zushi, and I want to get into the Untamed. So even though we're entering the second half of the season, and I'm sad because that means we're getting into the later episodes, there's still so much more Modao Zushi content that I don't feel too bad about it. But man, so last episode we had the Wangshin moments continued, but we also got back into the plot full swing. We have gone to this big this forum that everybody's gathered to, all the clans. Yao is suspicious, Hui Seng's suspicious, Sushi's there being suspicious, everybody's suspicious. And it's funny because the clans are like, we need to find the Yiling Patriarch, and he's right there sitting with them, and Wanji's just like, I'm not saying a word. But it was so sweet last episode. Wuxian, dang it, I feel crushed because Wuxian trying to connect with his nephew, trying to connect with Ling, and Ling asking, are you Wei Ying? And Wuxian doesn't lie to him. He says, well, what do you think? And Ling is like, nah, you couldn't be that. You wouldn't lie to me. And it's like, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop and for Wuxian to reveal himself to Ling and for Ling to feel betrayed because Wuxian didn't just come out and say it. But can you blame him? Because Ling's been so anti-Wuxian this whole series. So it's just like, I'm not ready for that angst. But we still have so many questions, even though we have 7 episodes left. We've got episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got 7 episodes left. There's still a lot left to decode. Like this whole thing with Yao having a wife and a kid that was murdered that came out of nowhere. There's that. We have to get more into Yao's character. We still don't have the older Ni brothers backstory, which we've pretty much confirmed that the corpse with the ghost hand is the elder Ni brother. It's been him all along. Jishin's kind of confirmed that for us. So we need to know that backstory. We still don't know how Wuxian died. We know that him and Wanji had conflict before his death. And we've had all this happy moment with Wanji and Wuxian. So I'm like, eventually, the one thing that I'm looking forward to is that at least the backstory with him is going to be painful because we know he's died. It's going to be painful seeing Wuxian's past. But then the only good thing is knowing that there is a future for him. That's the only saving grace. It's like the author's throwing us a bone. It's like, we're going to give you this painful stuff with our protagonist, but just know things get better. It gets better. So there's a lot left that I feel like this series has to cover, and I'm really excited for it, but I don't know the order it's going to go in, how they're going to explain it all to us, who the mastermind behind. It's complicated, right? And I feel like it's going to be a big complex web, as only Modao Zushi could be. And so I'm really curious to know how it's all going down, who all is involved. It feels like so many parties are involved in this whole thing that I'm just ready for it to all string together. I feel like the threads are there, but they're not tying together yet. We've not connected them yet. So I told my friend Wuxian on Patreon, I was like, I didn't feel good this morning. I had like a headache halfway through the day, and I've been outside all day. And so I wasn't feeling good. And then I took some medicine. I laid down for a while. And then I got up. I watched My Hero Academia. And I was like, okay, I feel good. So let's watch Modao Zushi. So here I am. But in any case, I hope y'all enjoy this reaction because I am pretty darn excited for this. Let me get us ready to go. So let's do this, shall we? We are going to start episode 6 of Modao Zushi. And we are going to start that here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Well, I wanted more information about Yao. And we got it. Oh, buddy. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry if I was quiet during most of that, but I was floored. I was speechless because we've gotten so it was like just like a dump of Yao of Yao info. It was like, you want Yao info? Here you go. You've been begging for 3 seasons. Here you go. Or I guess 2 seasons. We didn't really have Yao in season 1. But I want to go back and rewatch season 2 now, because it's like, oh, I wanted to go back to that moment we found out about Yao killing Ruhan. It's like everything coming full circle. Oh man, I loved this episode because it was like in 3 different parts. It was the first part in the present, the second part in the past with Wuxian and Wanji and the whole Sunshot campaign battle, and then it was the last part with Yao and his backstory, what we get of it. And the fun thing is we don't get all of it, right? We don't get all of Yao's motivations. He's so complicated. I figured that Yao's motivations were going to be complex, and maybe they're not. Maybe it's just as simple as he wanted his father's approval and couldn't get it. But I think there's so much more to it than that, and that's what we need to talk about. So, holy shit. Okay. So, let me get the sound off on this bad boy, because we need to talk about this episode. And I need to go back through it because I'm like, stuff happens. Stuff happens. Okay, before we go any further though, the tiny little paper Wuxian, from the trailers when we got the little paper doll, I thought that it was going to be like a little paper doll that Wuxian could control, because back when they did the little hot spring scene, he made the little doll and he made it go up to try to tug at and get Wanji's token so that he could get out of Gusu, right? But that's what I thought this was going to be, that Wuxian was just controlling the little doll, not become the little doll. Ah! It's the cutest thing known to man. Wuxian as the tiny little paper doll. It's the cutest thing in the world, and I don't think I'll ever get over it. But we're going to talk about it. Okay, so let's get past this intro here, even though it's beautiful, and get to the Venerated Triad. I've wanted this backstory, and it's finally getting to us, and so it's like, yes, thank you for all this. So we start back at the present. Things happening, and so Wanji getting the little. So he has like the little. It looks like he has like a pin in the lantern, and then Wuxian noting that it's about time for them to spring their plan into action, and so. I'm just gonna say it. They're in their bedroom. That's a big ass bed. Oh, show! Getting past them censors. Let's just show them sitting on this nice, comfy, cozy bed. I'm so ready for the novel. You guys have no idea. Yes, you do. You know exactly how much I want to read this novel now. But yeah, this big old bed that they're just chilling out on. I love the idea that Wuxian just kind of like possesses that. It's funny because Wuxian is possessing Mojang Yu's body and is going to possess the doll from that body. And so it's it's like Inception. It just keeps getting layered. But that Wanji is there. Wanji, the fact that this whole time while Wuxian has been in the doll body, parading around Yao's house and room, whatever, the fact that while that's all been happening, Wanji has been holding him in his arms the entire time. Show. The fangirling, I can't contain it. I wasn't ready. But I love the idea of this him using the cool little. It looked like, okay, if you've ever seen Sailor Moon, when Wuxian's hair is like flowing around the talisman, it reminded me of Sailor Mars of Rey when she has the talisman and she's about to use her firepower. That's what it looked like. That's all I could think about in that moment. It's wonderful. But yeah, him possessing and making the paper become the little doll, and then he just passes out against Wanji, and Wanji's like, "Don't worry, bae. I'll sit here and hold you in my arms." Ugh. I can't get over it. It's the freaking cutest thing ever. And then he just flies through the air and lands. And what a crazy product placement. The Four Seasons grapefruit summer drink. I've missed Cornetto all this season. And I know that y'all have said there are Cornetto ads out there, and some of you have linked me to a couple of the Cornetto ads. Bless you. Thank you. It's been wonderful. But this is like the most subtle ad. It looks really good. I want it. I want that grapefruit drink. I was not prepared. And he gets like a little bit of grapefruit on him. Oh my God. Oh my God. The fragrance of tea. Fruits. Oh my gosh. Oh God. And then just him crawling onto Wanji and jumping onto his headband, and Wanji's like, just do what you gotta do. And I know why y'all were freaking out now. Because when the little kiss happens and he dangles off of Wanji's lips, I thought, okay, well, he's just possessing a paper doll. Why are y'all freaking out? It's Wuxian. It's like an indirect kiss. It just hangs on that lip, and Wanji catches him and like infuses him with his soul energy for protection. And the little Wuxian thing is blushing. Like after he kissed him, he's blushing. And then Wanji's like, don't fool around. Like, you must be careful. Like just letting his lover go to go infiltrate the enemy base. I can't describe to you all how much I'm fangirling about this. This episode, this season, everything they've gotten away with. It's too cute. It can't be contained. What are we even doing? I'm just gonna gush. I'm sorry, y'all. We'll talk about this episode, I promise. But him just flying on the leaves. Oh my God. And then going past Baby Ling and Fairy and seeing that, and then Link's like, something in the sky other than the leaves? I love it. And then and of course Wuxian's like, oh, that scared me. And then of course, Xixin, can you help me again? And they're all having to listen to Hui saying, this is the interesting part. So after everything we've learned about from Yao and how sketch Yao is and all of this, I'm still suspicious of Sushi and Hui Sang. There's more to it than just Yao being a part. I still don't know. We need to talk about Yao and his motivations, because this episode, it's brought up so many questions. I'm like, Moda Azushi, what are you doing? What? So Hui Sang, we've established in the novel, Hui Sang, he constantly asks for Xixin and Yao's help, and to the point where it's kind of annoying. So we get to see that here. But it's almost like he's distracting them, right? Like Wuxian surfing on the leaf is adorable, but it's almost like he's distracting them, right? Because when Wuxian as the leaf, when Leaf Buddy Wuxian goes into where Yao's room is, we see the ninjas sneaking off. And Wuxian's like, well, that's weird. So I'm like, is Hui Sang distracting Xixin and Yao so the ninjas can sneak in and deliver the note to the wife? Is that the case? Is because we've established in this show that there's multiple parties working for each other, and that one party is trying to uncover and reveal all the secrets, and the other one's trying to keep the secrets covered up. So Wuxian and Wanji are struggling against two opposing parties. It's like they're the third wheel on these two opposing parties. There's like Yao. I think Yao's group is trying to keep everything covered up because that will benefit Yao since he's the head clan leader now of everybody. Of course, Yao wants to keep it all covered up. But I think that Hui Sang and Sushi are maybe working together to uncover everything and reveal it to Wuxian and Wanji. Because now we've learned Hui Sang has a pretty big stake in all of this. Because if Yao is responsible for Ni's death, for the elder brother Ni's death, if it was his doing that killed the elder brother Ni, and Hui Sang knows that, then of course Hui Sang would want revenge on his brother's death. Because Hui Sang didn't want to be in charge of the clan. He didn't want that. So if this is all forced him to do that, and he found out Yao was responsible, then Hui Sang probably wanted revenge. And so he probably teamed up with Sushi. And they're trying to uncover everything. And the question is, was Yang working with Yao? Oh, so many questions. So Wuxian sneaking in and finding the hall, and then going up and seeing that the letter's been opened and being freaking adorable. I can't even take it. But the wife, Yao, God, the way that they draw Yao's face and his eyes are like, they're glass, like they're yellow glass like Wanji's, but whereas Wanji's eyes can be like warm and inviting, amber glowing, Yao's eyes are menacing. They're like cold glass, like yellow glass. It's kind of creepy. Yeah, and he's like, what's going on? And then she sees him and freaks out. So I want to get this conversation. And he's like, Sue, what's the matter? And she's like, takes her hairpin like she's going to stab him. And he, for someone that's trying to pull off being innocent, he has this like cat-like look on his face. Like his eyes get all gleamy and he looks very cat-like and totally suspicious, totally evil. And he wants to know who gave her the letter. And she wants to know if what's in the letter is true. And so he says it's not true. It's lies. Uh-huh. But she doesn't believe him. The way he says it, she doesn't believe him. It's like she's just saying what she wants him to say. So she says, Song, it was you. And then she collapsed. And he's like, I told you it was a lie, but you don't believe me. You're making things hard for me. And then he burns up the damn letter. Ah! So the question is, who gave you this letter? And she smacks his hand away. And she says, now she calls him a lunatic. So, what? So my question is, first of all, she says, Song, you're the one who... So are we talking about Song Lan? Are we talking about him? Or is their kid's name Song? Is their son's name Song? Or because at first I was like, oh, well, are we suggesting that Yao poisoned Song instead of Yang? Is that what we're suggesting? And by her saying that he's a lunatic, did Yao like Yang? I thought we were kind of done with these characters, but are we not? Are we tying back to them? Or is Song the name of their kid? Because, I mean, you know, we've got lands everywhere. And, yeah, I was like, I know you won't believe anything I say now. But my feelings for you were sincere. You never minded my past or my mother's lowly status. And I've been grateful for you for that. And I respected you, cared for you, and loved you. You have to understand this. Even if Song was never murdered. So Song is the name of their kid, isn't it? If Song was never murdered, he still had to die. He had to die. Oh, and that face he says when he says he had to die, I'm like, So Song is their kid. And Yao had him killed, saying he had to die. But why? Why did he have to die? I don't understand. And then her smacking him and saying, a tiger, though cruel, will never devour its cubs. That line. Oh. And here's the thing. The crazy part of it is that he clenches his fists and she says, what won't you and care, what will you not do or you care to do for your status and position? And that look, he says, are you really not going to tell me who sent you the letter? He just looks so done. And she's like, why? So you can silence him as well? And he seems that you're ill, my dear. No, nope. Oh my God. Like, that's so creepy. He just like knocks her out. Or he doesn't knock her out. But he like takes her through the mirror. So why did he kill his kid? Why did he have to die? I don't understand. I'm assuming we're going to find that out. But I'm like, what reason would you have to kill your own child? I don't understand. That part I'm like, yeah, I need to know some explanation. Because if you're trying to justify child murder, I need some, you need to have a pretty darn good explanation for this. Of why he had to die. And her line like, will you do nothing for money and status and power? It's like, well, he is Daddy Jin's kid. And Daddy Jin was all about status and power. So the apple may not fall far from the tree, right? I mean, I think Zishuan was probably the farthest from Daddy Jin, and we see what happened to him. But, and yeah, here's the thing that's crazy about that is that if that's true, and Yao is the most like Daddy Jin of all of his sons, the irony is that he wouldn't recognize him as a son even though he's so much like him. But Yao, there's something that he's conniving. He is definitely manipulative because he's like manipulating her and gaslighting her, his wife, about their child's death that he is probably responsible for. just, oh, there's so much more. And so Wuxian, meanwhile, is like, oh, a mirror. Like, all this shit's going down. He's like, so that's how it works. Like, he's like, I'm not interested in this domestic squabble between you all. So the creepy thing is like, he's like, looks like he's performing a ritual with her. And we go into like his secret study, his secret lair. And there's like chains and stuff where people have been like locked up to be tortured. And he's got her like on the table next to all these runes and talismans, like, and then stroking her hair. It's creepy. And he's like, just tell me who gave you that letter and you'll be able to go back. So it's like he's done like acupuncture or something, made her freeze. Yow, dude, not getting the good vibes at all. And of course, Wuxian is in the part that's under the curtain, and under the curtain is the Knee brother's head in his study that he also has Wuxian's sword and the tiger amulet in. Okay. And so then we find the sacrificial ritual, which is what Mo Jianyu stole. So, like, yeah, the scripture of the sacrificial ritual is in Yao's hand. So yeah, how did Mo Jianyu get his hands on it? I feel like by the end of the series, we're going to come full circle and figure it out. But it's like, how? What? There's still so many pieces of the puzzle that are missing that I'm like, but what? How did he get his hands on it? And then Yangming City, so which is where they were at. So Wuxian's like piecing it all together. The guests are still outside. I'll come back and check on you later. Oh, like he's just going to leave her there paralyzed. And then, oh my God, this creepy thing of him staring at the head. Were you the one staring at me earlier? That's kind of disturbing in its own right, because Yao talking to a decapitated head being like, were you the one staring at me? And it says all these talismans around it. Dude may be a little bit unhinged. A wee bit. The fact that you're keeping a man, specifically the Elder Knee brother's head, in your study, this corpse head, is problematic. So that means that Yao released the hand, right? Into the village, into the Mo village, in an attempt to get rid of Mo Jianyu, right? Because the reason I think that is because we've established that the corpse body is going after anybody with Jin blood in it. Now we know why, because he had the vendetta against Yao, so he's going after anybody with Jin blood, which would include Mo. So if Yao was suspecting Mo Jianyu for stealing something from his study and he wanted to silence him and get rid of him, the easiest thing to do would be to go take the Knee brother's hand, go sick it on him, and be like, okay, go kill my half-brother. He's not a good cultivator. But he's stolen something from me he shouldn't have, and he's in my study. He knows too much. Go get him out of the picture, and then we'll go back to the way things were, right? And so I'm thinking that he sent the hand to go get rid of Mo Jianyu, but Mo Jianyu beat him to the punch and did the sacrificial ritual, brought Wuxian back. And so Wuxian was dealing with the Mo family while there was this arm going around trying to kill him, but he didn't know it. And then Ling got involved, and we just went from there. It's like, it's all starting to maybe come together for me. And I'm like, okay, we're starting to piece things together, but there's still so much missing information that I'm like, I don't know. And then, okay, so Wanji, I'm assuming, put the little spell on Wuxian's paper doll so that if something happened, then he would be there to help Wuxian. Wuxian just wouldn't be falling through this abyss on his own. And I like that we're going through, it looks like the Knee brothers' memories. And I love that Wanji like pops in and like holds his hand and joins him in this memory. Quit being perfect, you two. So I love this moment. It's so bittersweet, but then it's like angst with a happy ending. This series, Motozushi, angst with a happy ending. Them seeing the Sunshot campaign moment and Wuxian and Wanji fighting, and I love it's so telling that Wuxian sees the Yiling Patriarch, the version of himself, like bringing all the corpses back from the dead. And he looks so sad. Wuxian's like, oh, yeah, I did that. And then he just turns away like he doesn't want to watch it. He looks so sad and he turns away from it all. Like he's trying to forget that he did that. It's like, oh my gosh. And then seeing all the birds, and it's so bittersweet because, you know, back in seasons 1 and season 2, we would see these shots of the Yiling Patriarch and be like, oh man, he looks so badass and sexy and cool. Not that he doesn't now, but with the context of Wuxian there in Mo Jianyu's body, Wuxian's like, this isn't me anymore, and I don't want to see it anymore. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's... And then Wanji freezing the corpses and jumping on top of them to get to him and saying, Wei Ying, stop. And I love that Wuxian's like, look, hey, Lanzan, it's you. Like he wouldn't notice. Oh my gosh, but them facing each other. It's weird seeing Wuxian what he actually looks like, because I'm so used to seeing him in Mo Jianyu's body now that I'm associating that with what he looks like. But then we go back to this and I'm like, oh yeah, he did look different. That's right. And just Wanji being like, Wei Ying, stop, please. And like begging him to stop. It's not too late. And like trying, and then them fighting. And the parallels with the choreography of them fighting versus the parallels of them chasing each other on the rooftop show I'm privy to that parallel. Thank you very much. It's beautiful that you show it to us. And him flipping the flute, and then him using the zither to knock it out of his hands. And they both grab it. And that tension, and he's like, Lan Wangji, must you stand against me? And it's like he's not trying to stand against you. And he's like, Wei Ying. And then them both fighting, and then Wanji and Wuxian are in the background watching. But here's the thing that I love, is Wanji's staring at it, and he doesn't look melancholy or sad. He just looks like he's accepting it. He's like, yeah, this happened. Like he's happy that, like, not happy, but he's accepting of the moment, and he knows that Wuxian's watching too. And he just looks so at peace. It's so odd. And then he says, Lanzan. And then Wuxian's like, why did I think that you hated me back then? And Wanji's like, I never hated you. And then he's about to confess his damn love, and we get Wuxian coming to terms and realizing that Wanji never hated him. He's like, why did I think you hated me? It's like, this is like, not It's a Wonderful Life, but it's like Wuxian getting a second chance and getting to go back and see him in the past and realizing the mistakes that he made. And it's like, but you know that they're together now and those mistakes aren't going to happen again. And it's like, I freaking love it. So yeah, we get the Elder Knee brother who shows up, but they're like, we need to go back even further. Like, we need to find out, in order to see how this is all deteriorated, we need to go back to Yao and Mingzhu, the Elder Knee brothers' relationship, and seeing what happened there. So I feel like this is one of those things that the novel is going to expand upon even more with the whole with that fight between Wuxian and Wanji, that the manga is going to expand, the novel's going to expand on it more. We just haven't got to that point yet, but God, I'm so ready for it. Oh my God. I can't. And then, yeah, so we go to this very creepy city that looks like it's just like a holdup, and Yao is there giving people water and stuff, and Mingzhu's watching, and Jishin is there and says, have you heard, clan leader Zhang of Young Ming's reputation is certainly soaring. Of course, how could it not? Wei Wuxian can control armies of the corpses with his flute alone. He alone is worth an army of 1,000,000. So basically establishing that Wuxian and Chang, they've got a good reputation because of how much they're helping in the battle against the winds. And then your brother left for Young Ming as well, right? Mm-hmm. He's skilled. The Wind Dogs will have much to suffer this time. And then I love that Wuxian gives him like a Not bad, Wanji. Look, they're talking you up, man. Talking my husband up. Oh my gosh. And Wanji's like, stop. Speaking of which, this part, yeah. Do you remember that benefactor that I mentioned? Of course. I'd like to meet such a righteous and benevolent man. And Wuxian's like, benefactor? And so Wanji says that when Gusu was burned down, his brother hid in Yangming for months. And he heard that he's under your wing right now. Oh. So Yao, like, slowly rising up to be well known. Why didn't he go find his father? And so then we get the gossip. We get the gossip of the guys saying, why is he stuck here in these ruins? Why didn't he just go to Daddy Jin's? And they're like, well, he tried. He brought a token with him last year, and then he was kicked out despite having the token. He was kicked off the stairs. And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Daddy Jin is terrified of his wife, and he wouldn't dare acknowledge him. Of course he wouldn't. His mother was a prostitute. Who knows who is his real father? So that's what gets him. Yao strikes me as someone that is incredibly proud that he is born of noble blood, that he is Daddy Jin's son. Despite what his real father thinks of him, he is proud that he's part of the Jin clan by blood. Despite that his mother is a courtesan, he's proud of he has his dad's pride and his dad's like lust for power, which is very interesting because he's kind of in this lowly status. And because Daddy Jin's terrified of his actual wife, he's not going to acknowledge Yao because he's like, no, you're like an illegitimate son. My wife will get super mad at me if he finds out that I've been cheating on her with the prostitute. So, nope, not going to acknowledge you. But Yao's like, it's my birthright. Like, I'm your son. I deserve a spot at the table, right? And these guys all laugh about it. And Yao looks like he's going to confront them. And then Ni shows up. Mingzhu. And he's like, are you here to gossip or to do your work? And then, of course, Jishin and them come in. And yeah, a man should stand up straight and mind no gossip. So Mingzhu's like, I don't care what people say about you. Don't listen to them. He's like, your performance before, during, and after every battle the past few months has been outstanding. So he recognizes Yao. He's like, the more these people talk behind your back, the more you must prove them wrong. And he's like, from now on, Ming Yao will be my right-hand man. He's like, this kid's a benefactor. He's been doing good. He's been doing good things. I'm going to take him under my wing because y'all are not doing it. And then Jishin laying the hand on him. Like, Jishin just being like, oh, I trust you. Yeah. And then Wanji just flapping that robe sleeve, like, let's cut to the next scene. And then showing Mingzhu and Jishin, like, training Yao and helping him hold his sword up. Like, they took you under their wing and trained you. What the hell, Yao? They got you to, like, learn all these skills and everything. And then, oh gosh, Jishin and Yao with their backs to each other. And then it shows, like, Yao using his, like, strategic skills and showing them, like, all the plans that they could use and everything like that. It's so interesting. But him holding that talisman, like, all he wants is to be acknowledged and accepted into the Jin clan. Like, he's in the Ni clan right now, and he's being, held as the right-hand man, but he's holding that amulet like, I just want to be recognized for the blood that I am. It's like, And of course he hides it when he sees Jishin. And he's like, oh, you don't need to be formal with us. And so he's like, our clan leader Jin is looking for capable people to be in his army. And he's like, I recall that you once told me that you wish to earn your father's approval and a place in the Jin Hall. And I was like, well, I can't leave. I'm indebted to the clan leader. And then the clan leader's like, I didn't promote you because I wanted you to be indebted. Like, we're doing this to help you. So, I promoted you because of your capabilities and your good character. He's like, if you wish to repay me, then kill more of those wind dogs on the battlefield. And this letter of recommendation to leave for the Jin capital today to find your father. And so I'm so conflicted because it's like they took you under their wing, Yao. They trained you. The Ni brother Mingzhu gave you this letter of recommendation to go find your father. Like, they've helped you through all this. And he looked genuinely like happy that he got that letter of recommendation. So it shows them going to meet up. And then it says the old Daddy Jin with that big ass fan, they're like, you never met with Yao? And he's like, that's right. He's like, if I had known that you'd sent your right-hand man over, I would have made sure he was treated well. Speaking of which, we're surrounded on all sides by winds now. Do you have a way to defeat them? So here's the question. So Yao didn't go to meet with Daddy Jin, even though he had the letter of recommendation. And the Ni man got mad, and the Ni brother is like, what the hell? I gave him the letter of recommendation. Why isn't he doing the thing that I gave it to him for? So that is weird. Why didn't he go meet with Daddy Jin after getting the letter of recommendation? Why? And so then this guy shows up and says, clan leaders, I have an idea. Please have a look. And of course, the Ni brother looks at it, doesn't like the plan, and says he's shameless. But then Wei Ying notices that the plan is written in Yao's handwriting. But they've liked Yao's plans before, so either did this guy steal Yao's plans to take as his own, and then it didn't go well, or did Yao give the plans intentionally to him, knowing that the Ni brother wouldn't like them? Show. What are we doing? And so then he goes out to the forest looking for them, and then that's when Yao kills one of the men. But then he notices that he's there. I love the idea that Yao's reflecting on the blade. And then, why is Yao saying that man was my superior? Why is he confessing like did he not notice the Ni brother was coming? And so he tries to map it out and say that all these things happened. He didn't have a choice. He called my mother a prostitute. All the things that the Ni brother Mingzhu protected him for earlier, right? He went through all the motions of here's all the things that you protected me for earlier. So but then the Ni brother is like, you're lying, because why would you use one of our swords if you just lost your temper? You calculated this. You did this on purpose and planned it. And he says, everything I said is true. And he said, tell me, that day in the city, did you pretend to be a weak victim so that I would protect you and take you under my wing? He's like, no. He says, if I hadn't stood up for you, what would you have done? Would you have killed them all anyway? He's like, I won't do anything to you. Go confess your sins to your father yourself. And if what you said is true, then your life would be spared. Repent and turn over a new leaf. Oh. And to Yao, and that fog and everything, he's like, and to Yao, he's like, you've sentenced me to death. Because he's like, I can't go see my father. My father won't have me. So he's like, you're just going to send me to go live this life of misery and ignore me. And just, because he's like, my father won't accept me. He's like, you don't understand. He's not going to take me in. So me going to confess to him and repent isn't going to happen. He's just going to be stuck in this loop. And so Yao's a good actor. And Yang said that the best actor he knows is Yao. And Yao stabbing himself, or seemingly stabbing himself, until, I want to see what he did though. He's like, I've forsaken your kindness. I'll channel spiritual energy into you right now. But yeah, he channeled the energy right back to Ni inside of him, which is going to cause the deviation, right? And he's like, yeah, you'd better make sure that you never fall into my hands. And that shadow over his face and that look. What the hell? And so then, but this is where it gets complicated because it shows Ni being captured. And then it shows Yao. It shows, based on the timeline, this is the 23rd year when they lost the raid. And so it shows Yao being part of the Wind Clan, hanging out with Ruhan. And he's like, this is Yan Yang Hall. It's just a nest for a bunch of wind dogs. And then he goes over and kills the two guys from the Ni brothers clan. And so this crazy thing about this is that Jishin, honey, I feel like there's a parallel here. I feel like there's a parallel here between Wuxian and Wanji and Jishin and Yao. Except Wuxian and Wanji is what you want. It's what you want. You want Wanji to be correct. Wanji being like, look, Wuxian's not that bad. Wuxian's not a bad person. He has this bad reputation. He has all of these stories surrounding him. People think he's evil. He's really not. He's just been misunderstood, has had a bad luck and a bad past, but he's really a good person deep inside. And Wanji's proven right. That's what you want. But I feel like Zishin and Yao is Zishin's like, but Mingzhu, Yao was working for the Wind Clan. He had to do it. He was acting all this time to play a role so that he could get us closer to Ruhan, so that he could kill Ruhan in the end. It was all part of his act. It was all part of the plan. Yao's not a bad person. But as we've seen, I don't think that's true. I think Yao is a bad person. He's complicated. I think Yao has made some terrible decisions, but I'm like, dude, there's so many of these decisions I feel like he didn't have to make, right? So when Ruhan tampered with the late Ni brother's saber, the saber shattered and he died. And so then the Ni brother, yeah. And so the thing of to force someone to kneel before your father's murderer. Oh, Yao. You killed him by destroying his spirit. Oh. Like, that was such a move. Such a move. And then... Oh, somebody... Okay, so there's this sushi. The sushi ninja. And then Mingzhu. So, why? Why is the sushi ninja there? Or was that Yang? I just don't know. So, okay, wait. There's somebody there that knocked a guy over and killed him. And then I want to see this guy there. It looks like... But it looks like Yao. So they must have imprisoned... Okay, so they imprisoned the Ni brother. Obviously, the Wind Clan imprisoned the Ni brother like they were going to assassinate him or execute him later. And then one of the ninjas that looks like Sushi showed up to free him. But it looks like Yao with the hair. It looks like Yao in the blue sushi Okay, so... This episode's making me question everything. So could it be that the night that Daddy Jin was burning Ning, he cremated King and was going to assassinate Ning, the fierce corpse, the night that Wuxian lost control of the tiger amulet powers and everything, we saw the guy, I thought it was Sushi. We saw his mouth and him like using the demonic cultivation energy. We thought it was Sushi. And then I was questioning if it was Yang or not. Could it be Yao? Does Yao know demonic cultivation? Is Yao responsible? Because he clearly he's wore all these different robes. He's wore the wind robes, he's wore the knee robes, he's wore the Jin robes, he's wore this ninja robes. He's been everybody, and it's like, what is happening? And then Jishin ends up saving him. And Mingju was rescued. The Nin clan was recuperated, right? And then months later, the 4 major clans led thousands of cultivators to attack Nevernight City, and that's when Yao killed Ruhan and stabbed him, killing him at Yang Yang Hall. Okay. And so then we had that moment where he shed the robes and revealed himself like we saw in season 2, but the Ni brothers like, you just did all this shit, so I'm going to kill you. And Jishin's like, no, don't kill him. And clearly Jishin stopped him from killing him. Right? Jishin, you got it bad, honey. But I know you want to protect Yao, but dude, Yao is so manipulative and not like Wuxian. No, not at all. I feel bad for Jishin because I feel like Jishin is trying to protect him. Even if it's just their bestie friends. I don't believe him. I don't trust Yao for a second now because he's been so manipulative and so devious, and he's just every semblance of trust with everybody. He's just like shattered it. And I'm like, Yao, what are you doing? I just, And he's like, oh, I'll atone. And the Ni brother's like, no, you're not. I'm going to kill you. He's like, fine. I'll kill you and then kill myself. But Jishin doesn't let him do it. I love when Wuxian grabs that hair and it just disintegrates. And in the battle, Yao's reputation soared. And then he returned to old Daddy Jin's place. And the 3 of them became brothers. But then in less than 4 years, Mingju Qi deviated and died a bloody death. And I'm assuming maybe we'll get that next episode. I'm hoping so. Yeah, there's more to it than that. There has to be more to it because then it shows the 3 of them drinking the cups. I just, you know there's more to it than that. You know that there is. And it's like the Ni brother clearly doesn't trust Yao at all, but they're obviously putting on appearances because Jishin trusts him. But, and Huiseng's somehow involved in this, and Sushi's somehow involved in this, and it's all, I feel like it's all slowly coming together, but as it's coming together, it's expanding even more. Like the web is slowly tying together, but then you're noticing that like the web's bigger than you thought it was. And it's like, oh my God, This is a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. I cannot wait to read the novel. I can't wait to listen to the audio drama because I know there's going to be more with this and piece it all together, but holy cow. Yeah, this is fine. I love this episode. There's not been a bad episode this season at all. 10 for 10. It was like the whole info dump on Yao, I needed that, and now I have more questions. The whole thing with Wuxian and the paper doll, love it. The fact that we're getting the reconciliation of Wuxian slowly realizing that Wanji's always loved him and that never hated him. I'm glad for that. I'm glad we're getting there. Show you're doing things, and I'm here for it. But man, I wish I had that grapefruit drink. I really do. I would have it in a heartbeat, but you know what? That's okay. So I am curious to know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. I'm on cloud 9. This was an amazing episode, but I hate that I have to wait a week now. Thanks, Modazushi. So in any case, I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll be back soon with episode 7. We're at the halfway point, and we still have so much left to go. And I'm so excited, but we'll get there. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you again soon with more Modazushi. Bye.